Well, thanks for joining us at Sporting Bet. It is, of course, the final one of our previews for the Cheltenham Festival this year. Neil's back. Neil Chang, professional punter and the head of the Betting Emporium. Thanks for doing this for us. We appreciate it. Four times you've been here.
It's okay, but I don't want you to be cross with me today. So I came here a few weeks ago and we talked about the Champion Hurdle.
Yeah.
And then I came the next week and we talked about the World Hurdle. Actually, we did not in that order. We talked about the Wednesday Championship race, the Queen Mother Champion Chase, and then the Thursday Championship race, the World Hurdle.
So give me the Gold Cup winner.
That's what you're expecting, isn't it? Now, I don't want you to think that I haven't been doing my homework, because I'm a hard worker. I have gone right through the race, and I could talk to you about all the horses in it if you really want me to. I'll be honest with you though, those other three horses that I came here and tipped, and I think it's important for me. I immediately rushed from here to some various retail outlets around the City of London and wrote out slips with each way a pleasure. And I'm not going to do that in the Gold Cup. I just don't fancy anything right now at the current prices, and I don't want to give you guys a tip on something that I'm not personally going to put money on myself. So I'm sorry if that's not the way that people normally do it.
I think at this point I should give you a plug then. So I'm assuming Neil's going to actually come up with a tip for the Betting Emporium.
I'll try, but
subscribers will probably get it on the day, will they?
I'll definitely try, and like the way it works with Betting Emporium is if you do sign up, you get access to an area of the site that only people that sign up look at, and you get an essay on each race starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and half an hour intervals. You get each race up until midday. So that's basically what you get. And you get quite a comprehensive essay covering all the runners in the race, so hopefully that's worth it.
Well, I think you're doing quite a good job of making people go to the site.
That was a
so
good plug, wasn't it? What I was going to say is that, as a professional, I'm not looking to push to find bets. This is not a week where I struggle to find enough things to bet on. There will be great bets in all the races, most likely. But if there is a race that I just feel like the shape of it, the Gold Cup is pretty overanalyzed during the year. There's a good chance that there isn't a massive rick in the prices. I'm really, when I came in and said to you, we've got to back the new one today, that was genuinely because I thought it could really shorten up. And maybe I got lucky that Forheem's not running. I just don't really see the Gold Cup as like that. But I do think there is, angles in all the races generally.
Well, that's fair enough. So Neil isn't going to give us a Gold Cup tip. Let's just touch on let's touch briefly on very quickly on the three that you have given us. You've given us the new one at 16th for the Cheltenham.
Which obviously that's gone now because Forheem's not running. I wouldn't if you're just tuning in for the first time. I don't think it's massive value now. We're done with that.
God's Own in the
God's Own has
chase.
shortened up a little bit to 25-1. Tom George has had a couple of winners in the last week or so. The stable's going well. If you haven't got on at 33s, I think it's definitely going to run in the Queen Mother. I would take the 25s. I think that's absolutely fine.
Okay, and finally it was Whisper in the in the Stayers Hurdle, in the long distance hurdle, I should say.
Nicky Henderson did a preview panel yesterday. He was asked what his best bet at the festival was. He said Whisper each way.
Oh really?
He likes Whisper. So if you're not on that, you can still get on that. I think it's still a good price.
So,
no problem
so you cover the Champion Hurdle, you cover the Champion Chase and the World Hurdle, and I suppose if we're not going to talk about the Gold Cup, why don't we just have a touch upon then about some general betting tactics?
Well, there's one thing I think is really important that people should think about during the week. We had quite a mild winter. You probably don't know. I know you were off in the Bahamas and everything. Every winter is mild for you.
Not anymore.
But for me, grafting at Ludlow on a Thursday is completely different. For those of us that stayed at home, not you, Russ, it was raining, it was coldish, but it wasn't, we didn't have frosty mostly. We had a lot of wet weather. These races have been run on heavy ground, on soft ground, particularly in Ireland, and this is going to be fast ground next week. I think you can throw the form book out the window to an extent. Okay. I'm not going to be backing a lot of these. I think Yanworth actually is a really classy horse, and I wouldn't necessarily rush to oppose that. But I think if you're backing Min at about 6-4, you want your bumps felt. I wouldn't be doing that. I think there's a few like that where I can just say, let's try and find something that's a spring horse, a fresh horse that hasn't had a long season, and something that has shown form on the fast ground, even if it's run, that is like Whisper is a good example. It's a horse that's run poorly twice this year on soft ground, it's a completely different kettle of fish next week. And I'm going to be looking for situations like that throughout the week.
Okay, fair enough. So, just touching on a couple of other horses then that may be a short price, is there anything that you think might be vulnerable where shape of the race might help people?
Well, shape of the race obviously is a big call in the mare's hurdle on day one. I mean, Vroom Vroom Mag is going to be the favourite, and we assume Annie Power's going to go for the champion hurdle. Vroom Vroom Mag is going to be around about even money. This time last year, Betting Emporium subscribers were, we didn't cheer, obviously, when Annie Power fell. That would be crude and slightly unworthy, but we had a small cheer because we were on Polly Peachum each way, and she killed us, getting beat by the width of a Rizzler on the run-in. Hopefully she can do it this year, and I would say from the shape of that race, you'd be mad not to bet her each way. I'd imagine I'll be doing that. So that's not really telling you anything you didn't know.
So just one point on this ground then. You're saying then that generally the form that is going into the meeting is going to be a little bit flaky.
Yeah, they're talking about watering, aren't they?
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that Simon Clace will have many hours on TV telling us lots of interesting things about the water table and such like. He'll call it good to soft on day one, and by Wednesday afternoon he'll be fast ground.
Okay. Great stuff there from Neil. Thanks for watching the videos here at Sporting Bet. We've really enjoyed bringing them to you. Hopefully Neil will be back next year. Just remember as well, we are interested in laying bets here at Sporting Bet. VIP@sportingbet.com is the email address you can see there. If you fancy anything, if you want to back anything, we're certainly here to try and take you on. I'm sure you'll be having a few bets.
I definitely will. And I would say, people do kind of give bookmakers generally a bit of stick. But I know that you guys... It's a different game, isn't it? It's not Wolverhampton on a boring Wednesday. This is Cheltenham, you know. Like, if you guys are not going to lay us a few 200 quid each ways this week,
I'll promise you is we have got the appetite to lay a few bets.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and we're going to test you out.
So you've heard all Neil's tips. Make sure you look at the Betting Emporium for his Gold Cup action and also throughout the week. But we'll thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next year.
Best of luck.